Hey, Mike, Anthony Barr said the other day that he wanted to redo his contract to make sure he stayed, in part because he didn't want to leave Minnesota the way that, last year went with him getting hurt. I guess how important is being able to keep him, and maybe just where was he missed the most last year when he was out?
I think he's missed everywhere. He missed was it 14 and a half games or something like that, 14 and a half games. He's tremendously smart. We always have a lot of packages for him, things that he can do differently where a lot of players can't do that. But not only that, he's a terrific leader. The guys respect him in the locker room. The coaches respect him in the way that he goes about his business. He's a guy that can communicate to me on, and kind of where things are, and, do I need to adjust things or change things up a little bit as well. So I think he's a really important part of our football team.
Dave, followed by Don.
Mike, just wondering what your early read is on Kellen Mond and how much he's able to digest and grasp, the offense and kind of making that transition.
Well, Kellen's doing a good job. He's hanging in there mentally with everything. I mean, the coaches are working, it's all the time with him, continually working. He's still got a long way to go. But as far as the mental aspect of things, he's hanging in there pretty good, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Mike, we know that even though it's OTAs, it seems that they're already in mini camp mode. I won't say training camp mode, but can we over or underestimate the importance of this chemistry that you're talking about? We hear the guys joking around. They already seem to be bonding, and of course it's important for the younger guys, but where do you put that on a scale, and what's important to you right now?
There's so many important things to me right now, but as far as the chemistry part, I think that's important. Most really good teams have really good chemistry. They get along with one another. They don't complain and sit there and gripe about the coaches and, what this other guy gets to do and they don't get to do. And so, that part, I think everything in life, you feel good about the guys you're working with and, and you enjoy coming to work. And I think that's what this football team has been doing lately.
Courtney, followed by Andrew.
Hey, Mike, now with Kyle gone and Irv having a chance in year 3 to take on a bigger role, how do you, immerse him in that role where, at this point, a couple of years ago, we're talking about he's drinking out of a fire hose. Now that he's 3 years in and having to be the leader of that tight end room, what does that look like for him?
Honestly, I don't think it's any bigger role for him whatsoever. I think it's a bigger role for Tyler Conklin. He's kind of emerged as a guy that kind of moving upward. And with those two guys, we have a lot of weapons there. Irv always has been able to do what he's been able to do, whether Kyle was here or not. Obviously Kyle's a great kid and we miss him, but we're excited about these two young tight ends that we have.
The offensive line in this period, what can they get out of this? What do you want to see them get out of this? And then specifically too with the two rookies, Darrisaw and Davis.
Yeah, the biggest thing with these guys is footwork and technique and hand placement. When we get to the team period, it's for the lines. I'm trying to take care of them a little bit, but it's a lot of communication with the pass protections, the different fronts that they're seeing, the footwork, pad level, all those things that they can kind of get through individual without really trying to finish blocks, working together on double teams or down blocks and pulls, all those areas these guys can really go. As far as the young guys, they're both doing really good. Darrisaw obviously is very talented. He's got a little groin pull today or something. And so I don't think he'll go today, but he's done a nice job. He's worked real hard. He's been very attentive. Davis is the same way. He's got some things to work on. But they're both big guys with athleticism and, repetition is going to make them better and better.
Sam, followed by Don.
Hey, Mike. Justin Jefferson's obviously no longer a rookie anymore. He's coming into this offseason as one of the rising stars in the league. Have you seen anything different about his mentality kind of going into this summer?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've seen out of JJ is, he's very, very confident right now. He's a lot more talkative, a lot more excitable, I guess, is the way to go. He still, runs great routes, catches the ball. He's still got to continue to, do things right every single day, and that'll allow him to continue to ascend into the player that he has the ability to be.
Mike, what have you seen so far from Xavier Woods that you really like? Especially you need that safety spot to step up.
Yeah, honestly, I've been really impressed with Xavier. He's done a really good job of communicating. He's done an outstanding job of breaking on the football, anticipating throws. So all the non-padded things so far, he's been a really, really pleasant surprise. I've been very happy with him. When you get into pads, we'll see how that goes. When these guys got to go be physical and tackle and things like that. But as far as athletically, he's outstanding, very smart, and he's had chances if we were going live for a lot of big plays and collisions. The way he's doing things.
Matt, followed by Courtney.
Hey, Mike, when it comes to the rookies or young players battling for positions, in the past, like last year with Jefferson, like he was brought along a little bit slower and didn't start till week 3. When it comes to the offensive line, like what would you want to see from Darrisaw and Davis to compete for those jobs with the first team going into training camp? Like what could you see from them in the offseason that would kind of give you confidence that they could compete for those jobs?
Well, it's a little bit different this year than it was last year. We do have some preseason games. We're going to play, practice against the Broncos, so we'll get to see them against other competition. Right, they are competing right now. Whether or not, if they're the best guy, they're going to play, and then just it depends on how soon that happens. It's always a big jump when you come into the NFL from college, where it's terminology and getting to know teammates and the way that the footwork and just the way that the NFL, especially with the offensive line, is different. And so sometimes that takes a little bit of while, like it did with Justin. We got a chance to play him when he got a chance to play. I mean, you can go through a lot of guys that might not have started the season there, but at some point you got to get them in there if they're a talented guy and they're doing things right. And sometimes it's a little bit baptism by fire, but you know that they're going to be better down the road. So they're competing. Once we get the pads on, they'll all be competing for that job, and we'll just see how it shakes out.
Mike, Xavier Woods is a little smaller than the safeties you typically have had here in that 6'1", 6'2" range. What's the benefit of having somebody who's kind of that 5'11" guy? Is it their speed? What's the element there? You always want bigger guys. I mean, football's a physical contact game. It's not, playing basketball or something like that, or soccer. This is a physical football game, and I think the biggest thing is typically the smaller guys are a little quicker twitched than the bigger guys. But we always want to have bigger guys if we can.
Andrew.
Hey, Mike, Daniil Hunter's usually a guy who shows up to the voluntary stuff. Have you heard from him at all of why he's not here? And then do you have any indication of when you'll see him again? I
have not. It's voluntary when guys are here. We've had outstanding participation. We almost 95%. There's a couple guys. I know one guy's missing today because his daughter is graduating, but for the most part, we've had outstanding participation, and so we'll just see when the minicamp shows up.
Time for 2 more with Sam and Dave.
Mike, when you have a first-time offensive coordinator like Klint, does your involvement, change at all in meetings or having discussions with him? What does that look like?
Yeah, we've had a few more discussions than I have had with Gary. Typically it's on when we're hitting situational stuff, when we're, sometimes it's on the field, sometimes it's, just getting to understand, how we want to do things. But Klint's done a nice job. Really all the coaches have over there, and so like I've said before, you're only everyone's a first-time play caller at some point, right? So, I was, everybody that's ever done it had a first time. So he'll get better. And the more that we do these things where he has to call it off the cuff, where he's not reading a script and has a play already set, the better he'll continue to do, and he'll do fine.